The wild the wild robot escapes. This is the second book, chapter 58 to 60. It's late, so I don't really want to read that much. Sorry. The hailstorm was briefed but violent. Its icy stones were quickly melting away, but the damaged wood liner on the valley, but littered with shredded leaves and wind. Flowers wounded around. Animals were hobbling back to their homes. Several unlucky birds limp in the grass. Inside the cabin, Roz was standing by the window. She held Brightbill in her arms, his bruised body wrapped in an old blanket. The robot knew everything there was to know about caring for animals, but all her son needed was time. His injuries would heal on their own. Go on without me, Mom, said the goose in a weak voice. I'll catch up to you when I'm feeling better. That is ridiculous, said the robot. What kind of mother would leave her injured son behind? But Mom... Okay, where were we? Oh, yeah. Stop talking, interrupted Roz. You need to rest, Brightbill tried to argue, but he was already falling asleep. The cabin was simple. Just a square room with a wood stove, 2 chairs beside a table, and a couple of cots rotting in the corner. Dusty mugs and a bowls sat on a shelf. Otherwise, the walls were bare. It was clear no humans. No. One second, I gotta find out where I am. No humans had ever been there for a long time. However, it seemed that some other creature had moved in. The whole place had a foul odor. Lumps of feces were strewn about. A little footprints trailed away from a dark hole in the floor. Roz leaned over the hole, and in the ground of the animals, she said, "Hello? Is anyone down there?" Others, nothing moved, and then a pair of eyes looked up from the darkness. "Who are you?" said a voice. "I didn't invite you to my home." "I am sorry to intrude," said the robot. My son and I were only trying to escape the hailstorm." "Your son?" said the voice. Is that him in your arms? Let me see." Very gently, the robot lifted a fold of clothes and revealed the sleeping goose. "He must take after his father," said the voice. "He is my adopted son," the robot explained. "My name is Roz, and this is Brightbill." The shining eyes blinked, and the voice squealed with excitement. "You're Roz and Brightbill. The birds have singing about you for months. You're living legends. Technically, I am not living," said the robot. "You seem pretty alive to me," said the voice. Either way, it's nice to meet you. They call me out Sprinkles." With that, the creatures crawled up through the hole in the floor. She was covered in black fur. from her nose all the way to the tip of her fluffy tail. Well, expect from those white stripes running down her back, you see Sprinkles was a skunk. The robot took one look at her and stepped backwards. Sprinkles frowned. You know, Roz, skunks only get stinky when we're nervous. Are you nervous now? Well, sort of, but in a good way. I'm honored to meet you. Please pull up a seat and tell me what brings you here. Sprinkles hopped onto the table and listened as Roz described their journey. The skunk was a very good listener. While Roz spoke, Sprinkles nodded politely and said like, oh my, and is that right? And you don't say. This went on until Brightbill began to steer. Ma, I'm thirsty, he whispered. There's a creek right out back, said Sprinkles, and those might be useful. She motioned to the bowls on the shelf. Please help yourself to anything. My home is your home. It turns out skunks can be quite hospitable. Sprinkles invited visitors to stay as long as they liked. And also, our friends spent Brightbill's recovery in the cabin. Then Goose mostly slept. The Roz robot water and food. The skunk made sure they both were comfortable. A few mornings later, sunlight streamed in through the window and onto Brightbill. He was whirling and rattling and fluttering through the cabin. His injuries had healed, and he was eager to continue the journey. Thank you for everything, Sprinkles. The robot waved as she marched away from the cabin with her son on her shoulder. Glad I could help, called the skunk. Misunderstood creatures like us gotta look out for each other. Okay, this is gonna be the last chapter of the day. Chapter 59, The Strange Wildness. Another gloomy day had settled over the mountains. Here and there, the sun broke through the clouds and bright streaks. Where? Second, I lost track. Streaks came shining down like spotlights. One of those bright streaks swept over a rugged mound, I don't know, something, and found our friends. For a moment, the robot and the goose basked in the warm sunlight. Then the patch of light moved and rolled the next valley, where it sparkled across a strange interest sight. A patchwork of large boxes was nested among the trees. Broken walkways clung to the walls. Ramps and pipes slanted up from holes in the ground. The robot's computer brain identified the site. It was a destroyed coal mine. This was a strange kind of wilderness scattered through that mountain range. A ghost of human activity. Overgrown railways, rusted automobiles spindle toward the perch of mountaintops. Faded signs with managers like no trespassing, no hunting. Oh, it seemed humans had once lived and worked in this wilderness, only to leave it all behind. In places through there was still activity, robot activity. Arms and robot workers methodically dug new tunnels and built new dams. They worked in the mining operations. They took down abandoned buildings and hauled away truckloads of litter. Our friends were curious about these working robots, but they kept a safe distance and went on their way. Okay, that is all for today. The next chapter is 60 and it's called The Hunters. Hope you had fun reading with me.